The moment I walked into the small downtown bistro, the smell of garlic and roasted chicken hit me, but it wasn't the food that made my stomach twist. It was her. There she was. My wife, the woman I had trusted with every secret of my heart, laughing like someone else's world had suddenly become hers. And sitting across from her, inches away, was a man whose hand rested on the table in a way that should have never been casual. My first instinct was disbelief. I froze by the entrance, gripping the strap of my briefcase so tightly that my knuckles turned white. My mind screamed, this can't be happening. I had imagined hundreds of worst-case scenarios before, but none so concrete, so brazen as this. My chest tightened, and every step toward their table felt like walking on shards of glass. I watched her toss her head back, the sunlight catching the golden highlights in her hair. Her laughter was warm, intoxicating, and yet in that moment it became poisonous to me. She didn't see me at first. Her focus was entirely on him, her hand brushing his arm as she spoke. The familiarity of the gesture, the intimacy, the careless way she leaned forward, it stabbed me deeper than I could have imagined. I didn't speak. I didn't even breathe. I just observed, numb, while my mind raced through the possibilities. Maybe he was just a colleague. Maybe I was overreacting. But the way she touched him. I knew the truth before I allowed myself to admit it. I turned away briefly, my mind a storm of anger, sorrow, and disbelief. How long had this been going on? Was this just a harmless flirtation, or had she been lying to me all along? All those evenings she claimed to be late at the office, all the work dinners, all the excuses, were they lies? My stomach churned. I thought about confronting her right there, raising my voice, demanding answers. But as I looked at her, laughing, carefree, my hands trembling at my sides, I realized I needed control. I needed to be more than just a man consumed by fury. I needed to understand. I slipped out of the bistro quietly, deciding to follow her car later, to find out where she went, what this meant. The hours crawled. Every phone buzz, every passing car made my heart jump, hoping, fearing it was her. When she finally walked through the front door that evening, my world narrowed to the sound of her keys jingling. "Hey," she said casually, smiling as she set down her bag. "Dinner's almost ready. Long day at work." I didn't answer. I just watched her, noting the little details. The way she adjusted her blouse, the faint scent of perfume that wasn't hers, the smug tilt of her smile. Everything suddenly seemed exaggerated, every gesture performed, every word rehearsed. "Is something wrong?" she asked, her voice tinged with worry. I forced myself to remain calm, though inside I was boiling. "We need to talk," I said. My voice was low, deliberate. "About honesty. About trust." Her face flickered. Was it guilt? Fear? I couldn't tell, but she hesitated before sitting down at the kitchen table. I don't know what you mean," she said softly. I looked at her directly, holding her gaze. "Don't lie to me. I saw you today. At lunch." Her breath hitched. "Lunch?" "Yes. With him. That bistro. Touching him." The words left my mouth, heavier than I expected, like bricks settling in my chest. She swallowed hard, and for a long moment the room was silent. I could hear the hum of the refrigerator, the tick of the clock, the uneven rhythm of my heartbeat. I can explain," she said finally, her voice trembling. "It's complicated. He's just a colleague." It meant nothing. Nothing. My voice rose slightly, though I kept my posture controlled. "You were leaning on him, laughing like you weren't married. Like you weren't mine." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I didn't." "Stop," I interrupted. Don't tell me you didn't." I saw it. The room seemed to shrink. My heart pounded. I felt a crushing combination of rage and grief. I wanted to scream, to hit, to break everything around me. But I didn't. Couldn't. Not yet. I needed clarity. "I trusted you," I said finally, my voice barely above a whisper. "I built a life around us. And you were out there lying to me." Her eyes filled with tears, and for the first time I saw genuine remorse, Or at least I hoped it was genuine. I made a mistake. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I didn't mean. I shook my head. Do you understand what it feels like to see the person you love with someone else? To realize everything you believed in is a lie. The words hurt me more than I could have imagined. She looked down, ashamed. She tried to reach for my hand, but I pulled back instinctively. The warmth I had felt for her was replaced by a hollow ache. I paced the room, trying to calm the storm in my chest. My mind replayed every moment we had shared, every promise, every vow. Had she been thinking of him while we made those vows? Had our shared laughter and late-night talks meant nothing? I don't know if I can forgive this, I admitted, the words tasting bitter. I don't even know if I can trust you again. But I need to understand why. She sobbed then, quietly, and I realized I had broken her in ways I couldn't yet repair. I felt lonely, she confessed. You were always working, always busy. And he listened. He noticed me. I didn't plan for it to happen, I swear. Her words made me want to scream. Lonely. That's your excuse. My mind burned with hurt and disbelief. And yet a part of me, a tiny, foolish part, wanted to believe her. Wanted to hold on to the woman I had married. I sat down heavily, covering my face with my hands. I loved you, I whispered. I still do. But I don't know if I can love someone who can betray me like this. The night stretched long. We didn't speak much after that. She stayed in the living room, curled up with a blanket, silent and trembling. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at my coffee, replaying the scene at the bistro over and over in my mind. I thought about walking out, never coming back. About filing for divorce the next day. About a life without her. Without this constant reminder of betrayal. But I also thought about our history, our son, our plans. And I realized that love is never simple. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it's painful. Finally I stood. I walked over to her, and instead of yelling, instead of storming out, I knelt down to meet her eyes. I can't promise you anything right now, I said. But I need honesty. No more lies. No more hiding. She nodded, tears streaking her face. I promise, she whispered. I'll do whatever it takes to fix this. I'll do anything. We didn't hug. We didn't kiss. But there was a fragile thread of connection between us. A thread so thin I feared it would snap at the slightest touch. But for the first time that day I allowed myself to hope. Hope that maybe, just maybe, we could rebuild. Days turned into weeks. She went to therapy. We went to counseling. I asked questions, she answered truthfully. There were nights I cried alone. Nights I stayed awake listening to her breathe, wondering if she would ever feel the same guilt again, the same fear of losing me. And then one evening, months later, as we sat in that same bistro, now cautiously reclaiming what had been lost, she reached across the table and held my hand. No theatrics, no lies. Just a quiet acknowledgement of what we had survived. I'm sorry, she said simply. I squeezed her hand, letting the memory of betrayal and heartbreak linger just long enough to remind me of the price of trust. And then I let it go. Not completely, not yet, but enough to breathe. Because love, I realized, is not just about blissful days and perfect moments. It's about surviving the worst, facing the unbearable, and deciding, despite the pain, to try again. And that day, with her hand in mine, I made that choice.